This is a production of Minnesota Sea Grant, a system-wide program of the University of Minnesota. Aquaculture supply chain in Minnesota. The goal of the Minnesota Sea Grant Fisheries and Aquaculture Supply Chain Project seeks to identify viable scenarios for the effective processing and distribution of commercial fish and aquaculture products in Minnesota. This production focuses on the aquaculture supply chain in Minnesota. The Minnesota Sea Grant Fisheries and Aquaculture Supply Chain Project has 4 objectives. To explore how best to mitigate the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic situation, to determine methods to prolong the shelf life of fish products and to provide supply chain flexibility, to explore cooperative business components such as processing and distribution, and to address future uncertainties in the supply chain for Minnesota seafood products. Minnesota Sea Grant Fisheries and Aquaculture Supply Chain Project staff include Amy Schrank, Minnesota Sea Grant Fisheries and Aquaculture Extension Educator, and Don Schreiner, Minnesota Sea Grant Fisheries Specialist. What is a supply chain? A supply chain is the procurement, processing, preservation, transport, and sale of a product or service. There are several aquaculture concerns addressed in the Minnesota Sea Grant Fisheries and Aquaculture Supply Chain Project. Aquaculture concerns include high loss of embryos and post-larvae from transport. Minnesota aquaculture producers of both shrimp and rainbow trout report suffering high mortality rates for post-larvae and embryos caused by long-distance transportation from their source. During 2020, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, many post-larvae and embryo suppliers stopped their operations, resulting in Minnesota producers closing theirs. High mortality rates and low profit margins. Lack of operational and biological knowledge can greatly affect the success of aquaculture operations and are among the key challenges Minnesota aquaculture producers face. Finding available information online is difficult and can be discouraging for new entrants looking for reliable sources. High energy costs in winter. One of the largest costs Minnesota aquaculture producers face is high energy costs to keep their facilities operational. If not designed properly, an indoor operating system could significantly increase energy costs in winter. Misunderstanding and lack of clarity in permitting. There are a variety of permits and licenses required to operate an aquaculture farm in Minnesota. This highly regulated and complex industry can lead to misunderstanding among producers in terms of permit costs and state regulations. Change in demand. During 2020, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, there was a significant decrease in demand from restaurant buyers to purchase food fish from aquaculture producers. As a result, producers experienced a decrease in revenue and oversupply of product. Few producers for each species. Minnesota currently has a limited number of small-scale aquaculture producers and very few producers for each particular species. Because of this, the challenges and needs of each producer can vary greatly. To mitigate high loss of embryos and post-larvae during transportation from their source, Minnesota producers could begin raising their own fish embryos and post-larvae and sell their excess supply to other local aquaculture producers. University of Minnesota researchers, funded by Minnesota Sea Grant, are also working to develop cryopreservation technologies that have the potential to preserve embryos for year-round availability. To help fix the problem of high mortality rates and low profit margins, the content and availability of educational materials could be enhanced on associated Minnesota Sea Grant websites and other official websites. Providing vetted, timely, digestible, and accessible resources relevant to Minnesota aquaculture could be valuable to existing aquaculture producers interested in improving their operations and to those interested in learning more. To help alleviate high energy costs in winter, developing awareness of energy costs and efficiencies during business planning could help producers make more informed, cost-effective decisions. Factors such as purchase price versus cost of longer-term use are sometimes overlooked during business planning, as well as awareness of the difficulties in transitioning to different systems later on. To avoid misunderstanding and lack of clarity in permitting, identifying ways to clearly communicate the step-by-step processes of applying for and obtaining necessary permits and providing explanations of the purpose for various regulations may serve to reduce misunderstandings and improve industry and environmental knowledge. The concern of change in demand could be lessened if Minnesota aquaculture producers explored new revenue streams by creating new value-added products that are based on processing fish or other seafood, applying new business models, and establishing relationships with new buyers. To help alleviate the concern of few producers for each species, introducing a co-op model once the Minnesota aquaculture industry matures could help local producers improve the various operational challenges they face. A co-op model has the potential to improve business bargaining power, expand market access, reduce costs, improve quality, and increase income. Interested in reading the supply chain white paper? Looking for fisheries and aquaculture experts? Visit our website and check out the Fish, Food, and Aquaculture program page. Thank you!